Ambassador Ilara Chen sips her synthetic coffee utterly unruffled as the massive holographic projection of Emperor Chax materializes his 15-foot frame, dominating the Galactic Council chamber, scales flaring with rage as he pounds his ceremonial war staff, sending cracks through the ancient marble floor. The Emperor bellows that humanity has 48 hours to surrender their outer colonies or face extinction-level bombardment from the 10,000 Moradin warships now surrounding human space. The alien diplomats shriek and scramble for emergency transporters, while security drones malfunction from the Emperor's bioelectric field. Ilara merely sets down her cup, rises to her full height of 5'4", and activates classified neural augmentations installed during her covert military past that allow her to detect micro-expressions across 17 alien physiologies. As she locks eyes with the Emperor, her implants immediately identify 3 distinct stress markers, revealing his ultimatum as desperate bluff rather than position of strength. The Grand Chamber falls into chaos as representatives from 87 galactic species flee toward emergency evacuation portals. Ilara notes with clinical precision how the Moradin honor guard shifts into defensive formation, their ceremonial armor now revealing hidden weapon ports that begin to glow with ominous energy. Ambassador Taxilak of the Vesperi Collective, a longtime human ally, whispers urgent evacuation protocols in her ear, mandibles clicking with fear. But Ilara gives an almost imperceptible shake of her head. She has calculated 16 possible diplomatic responses and determined that showing fear would only validate Moradin aggression strategy. Instead, she straightens her simple charcoal diplomatic uniform, designed to appear unremarkable, while containing advanced defensive technologies woven into its very fabric. Behind her expressionless face, Ilara's enhanced mind races, processing centuries of Moradin cultural data, identifying the specific ceremonial threat pattern. The Emperor employs one traditionally used against inferior species, deemed unworthy of true military respect. Her neural implants simultaneously transmit encrypted data packets through quantum channels, undetectable by even the most advanced Moradin scanning technology, alerting Earth's shadow defense network. Without any visible communication, the Emperor towers above all others in the chamber, his bioluminescent threat patterns cascading across his scales in waves of crimson and gold, designed to trigger instinctive fear responses in most carbon-based life forms. 3 of the younger diplomats collapse from autonomic nervous system overload, unable to process the biochemical fear agents now permeating the chamber. Air filtration systems struggle to neutralize the naturally occurring toxins from the Emperor's rage display. An evolutionary weapon developed during the Moradin rise to apex predator status on their homeworld. Ambient temperature in the chamber rises 15 degrees as ancient environmental systems designed by long-extinct precursor engineers strain to compensate for the Emperor's thermal output. Ilara stands unwavering as her implants automatically adjust her body chemistry, countering the fear toxins, while her specialized diplomatic training kicks in accessing cultural databases, identifying the precise moment to speak according to Moradin dominance rituals. When the Emperor pauses his tirade precisely on cue, Ilara steps forward, entering the ceremonial threat space, an action so unexpected that several Moradin guards activate weapon systems before being halted by the Emperor's subtle hand gesture. The chamber falls silent as Ilara begins speaking in High Imperial Moradin, a language with 14 tonal variations and 3 simultaneous vocal requirements, physically impossible for most humans, but which her augmented vocal cords produce with perfect pitch and resonance. Most shocking to the assembled dignitaries, she addresses the Emperor using ancient formal challenge protocols not employed in 5 standard centuries, demonstrating knowledge of Moradin cultural history beyond their public archives, knowledge that should be impossible for any non-Moradin to possess. The Emperor's inner eyelids flicker, a micro-expression of surprise, quickly suppressed, but detected by Ilara's enhanced vision systems, confirming her tactical approach has disrupted his prepared diplomatic assault. The remaining diplomats watch transfixed as this seemingly unremarkable human female systematically deconstructs the Emperor's threats without ever raising her voice or displaying emotional response. Alara's decades of training in 17 martial disciplines, combined with neural enhancements, gives her absolute control over autonomic responses, maintaining perfect heart rate and blood pressure, even as she calculates 12 potential pathways to physical escape should diplomacy fail, unknown to anyone in the chamber, including the Moridan's specialized nanites within her bloodstream, would allow her to survive even in vacuum for up to 8 standard minutes, sufficient time for extraction by stealth craft already positioning themselves in nearby dimensional pocket space. The Moridan High Command expected humans to either grovel or posture. Instead, Alara launches into rapid-fire diplomatic counter-proposals, referencing obscure Moridan military codes that even some of the Emperor's advisors have forgotten. She survived 3 planetary evacuations as a child, developed immunity to 7 different neurotoxins, and once negotiated peace between sentient A factions while trapped in a failing space elevator. Her unflappable composure visibly unnerves the Moridan war minister, who nervously adjusts his ceremonial death blades as Alara simultaneously activates 17 different diplomatic back channels using quantum-entangled particles embedded in her molars to contact Earth's shadow defense network. Human stealth vessels already moving into position throughout Moridan territory without detection, thanks to revolutionary phase-shifting technology developed by combining human creativity with salvaged alien tech. Emperor Shax signals his elite guard to move closer, their massive armored forms creating a semicircle of deadly intent around the diplomatic podium. Alara notes their positioning with clinical detachment, her enhanced mind calculating optimal escape vectors should violence erupt. She continues, speaking, her voice modulated to hit precise resonance frequencies known to induce calmness in Moridan cerebral structures, a technique developed by human xenoneurologists working in secret labs beneath Europa's ice sheets. As she speaks, 3 separate quantum communications transmit through the subspace network, each fragmented and encrypted using 17 rotating algorithms undetectable by even the most advanced Moridan surveillance systems. The first message alerts Admiral Helena Zhang that Operation Shadow Shield should commence deploying Earth's stealth defense grid. The second warns colonial administrators in the Perseus Arm to initiate Contingency Protocol Theta without causing visible evacuation patterns. The third activates dormant human intelligence assets embedded throughout Moridan territory, including 3 operatives positioned within the Emperor's personal staff, their genetic modifications and synthetic organ replacements, making them undetectable to standard bioscans. Alara maintains unwavering eye contact with the Emperor throughout this process, never betraying through micro-expressions that humanity has spent decades preparing for precisely this confrontation. Ambassador Blakthar of the Zentari Dominion attempts to interrupt, suggesting emergency concessions to the Moridans, but Alara raises one hand, slightly palm out, an apparently simple human gesture that contains encoded kinetic signals, activating shutdown protocols in the ambassador's translation implant. She knows the Zentari have secretly supplied weapons technology to the Moridans in exchange for territorial concessions, a fact she discovered during a deep cover operation 5 years earlier that remains classified at the highest levels. The Emperor notices this subtle interplay, his tertiary eye ridge flickering with interest as he realizes the human diplomat possesses unexpected layers of influence. Alara shifts diplomatic tactics, smoothly transitioning from formal Moridan address protocols to casual trade dialect, a linguistic maneuver so unexpected that several imperial advisors blink their defensive membranes in confusion. She begins outlining specific economic cooperation proposals, referencing recent fluctuations in deuterium markets and rare earth mineral trading indexes across 14 star systems, demonstrating intimate knowledge of Moridan economic vulnerabilities that should be impossible for an outsider to possess. Her enhanced memory recalls every statistical variation in galactic trade patterns over the past 30 years, information absorbed during specialized diplomatic training using band cognitive enhancement techniques. The Grand Vizier Keva steps forward, mandibles twitching with barely suppressed rage at her audacity, but the Emperor raises one massive clawed hand, silencing his advisor. The chamber temperature drops suddenly as the Emperor retracts his threat display scales, settling into neutral patterns that indicate reluctant respect, a response Ilara's cultural programming identified as having only 12% probability. Her neural implants automatically adjust strategy parameters, shifting diplomatic approach vectors, while maintaining outward appearance of absolute calm. The remaining alien diplomats watch with stunned silence as this seemingly ordinary human female causes the mighty Emperor to reconsider his posture. Beneath the council chamber 17 levels, down in Maintenance Sector 12, operative Maya Chen, Ilara's genetically identical twin sister, receives quantum data bursts through her own identical neural implants. She begins reconfiguring the ancient precursor technology that forms the station's defensive core systems, establishing backup protocols should the primary diplomatic approach fail. Maya's specialized training in xenotech engineering allows her to reprogram systems. Even the station's architects have forgotten utilizing knowledge recovered from classified archaeological digs on forbidden worlds. Her fingers move with practiced precision across interfaces designed for entities with fundamentally different neurological structures, demonstrating the unique human capacity to adapt and improvise with alien technology systems that defeated conquest by numerous aggressive species. The negotiations move to the ancient neutral zone station, its dark corridors, built from the hollowed exoskeleton of a spacefaring leviathan that died millennia ago, where Ilara reveals she spent 6 months as a hostage during the Proxima uprising, giving her intimate knowledge of the station's secret passages and maintenance ducts, information she uses to arrange clandestine meetings with 3 subjugated species planning rebellion against Moradam rule. Meanwhile, Earth unveils a technological surprise, deploying previously hidden gravity manipulation satellites that neutralize the Moradam fleet's targeting systems without firing a single shot. The Emperor's chief scientist nearly chokes on his ceremonial war spice when he realizes humans have reverse-engineered technology thought impossible for primitive species. Ilara exploits the growing anxiety by suggesting private talks without recording devices, where she shows the Emperor classified footage of human special forces neutralizing a Moradam Black Ops team that violated treaty borders last year without the incident ever becoming public knowledge. Transport shuttles dock with the ancient biomechanical structure known as Nexus Station, its massive organic hull pulsing with faint bioluminescence remnants of the cosmic Leviathan's nervous system, now repurposed as environmental indicators. Ilara steps from the diplomatic vessel, her specialized boots automatically adjusting to the unusual gravitational fluctuations caused by the station's quantum core fragments of the ancient creature's dimensional shifting organs preserved through technologies lost to modern science. Moradam guards flank the walkway, their ceremonial armor humming with suppressed energy weapons. Emperor Shax follows 20 paces behind, surrounded by his genetically enhanced Praetorian guards, whose extra limbs constantly scan for threats using bioorganic sensors grown specifically for protective duties. Ilara moves through the reception hall with practiced ease, nodding respectfully to representatives from 17 different species, her neural implants constantly scanning for chemical signatures indicating deception or hostility. She spent 183 days imprisoned in this very station during the failed peace talks of the Proxima conflict. When rebellious human colonists attempted secession tactics, she secretly memorized every maintenance shaft, security blind spot, and emergency protocol. While pretending to be a frightened diplomatic aide, her captor, Commander Vrax, now promoted to Imperial Security Director, follows her movements with suspicious tertiary eyes, unaware she understands his specialized guard communications, clicking through his mandible implants. 3 levels below the main concourse, in a radiation-shielded maintenance hub designed for the extinct Talaxian maintenance crews, Ilara meets with representatives from the Kandar Hivemind, the Saurian Collective, and the Protean syndicates all species subjugated through generations of Moridan military expansion, their varied physiologies requiring different atmospheric mixtures provided through specialized environment suits. They travel disguised as technical support personnel, but genetic signatures masked using experimental compounds developed in secret human laboratories on Titan. They share crucial intelligence about growing resistance movements throughout Moridan territory. Information Alara processes through secure neural pathways, protecting the sources while formulating 17 distinct negotiation strategies. Returning to her assigned quarters, Alara receives encrypted quantum transmission from Admiral Zhang, confirming deployment of Project Lightbend gravity manipulation satellites, their experimental phase-shifting drives, allowing them to remain undetectable while altering local space-time, preventing accurate targeting from Moridan weapons systems. The technology reverse-engineered from fragments of a crashed precursor vessel discovered beneath the Antarctic ice sheet. 60 years earlier, humanity made technological leaps that took other species centuries of development by combining intuitive innovation with collaborative research methods alien to hierarchical species like the Moridans, who compartmentalize knowledge based on rigid case systems rather than encouraging cross-disciplinary collaboration. During formal dinner proceedings in the Grand Observatory Chamber with its transparent ceiling, revealing the surrounding stellar nursery, Chief Science Minister Kefex drops his ceremonial spice grinder upon receiving urgent communication from Fleet Command, learning their weapon systems suddenly cannot maintain target lock on human settlements. His scales flush with stress pigments visible only to those with enhanced visual spectrum implants, like Alara, who notes this reaction with concealed satisfaction. Ambassador Trocon of the Hive Mother Conclave attempts subtle conversations, scanning information from her neural patterns, but encounters sophisticated mental shields developed through classified psionic training programs implemented after first contact with telepathic species 30 years earlier. As the elaborate diplomatic banquet concludes, Alara requests private audience with Emperor Chax, invoking ancient Moridan tradition of grievance disclosure that cannot be refused without severe loss of honor. The Emperor reluctantly agrees, dismissing recording devices and even his personal guards, a breach of security protocols unprecedented in imperial diplomatic history. Within the secured chamber, Alara activates a holometer disguised as decorative bracelet, displaying high-resolution footage of Earth Special Forces Team Umbra neutralizing Moridan Deathclaw commandos who infiltrated Jupiter Research Station. The operation, conducted with such precision that not even the Moridan High Command knew their elite troops had been eliminated. The Emperor's inner eyelids flutter rapidly, revealing genuine shock as he realizes humans have maintained technological and military capabilities far beyond official intelligence estimates. A dazzling reception hosted in the zero-gravity diplomatic sphere becomes the setting for psychological warfare disguised as hospitality, as Alara demonstrates perfect mastery of Moridan antigrav etiquette. Despite their biology giving them natural advantages, she glides effortlessly through complex ceremonial movements that most aliens require specialized training to perform. General Vox, the most decorated Moridan commander, challenges her to ritual combat testing, expecting humiliation, but Alara reveals specialized combat training from Earth's secret diplomatic security program, executing flawless countermoves that leave the massive alien breathless and impressed. When a cyber attack strikes the station's life support systems, Alara calmly accesses emergency protocols through her neural implants, restoring oxygen while continuing negotiations. Without missing a beat, the Emperor watches with growing fascination as she navigates 3 simultaneous crises while preparing traditional Moridan stimulant tea using toxic leaves that would kill most humans, but which she consumes without hesitation, having genetically modified her digestive system through classified medical procedures. The zero chamber gleams with iridescent light, its perfectly spherical interior suspended at the exact gravitational null point between the station's massive engines. Ambient harmonic frequencies vibrate through specialized sound conductors, creating melodic patterns that complement diplomatic conversations according to 17 different species' cultural aesthetics. Ilara enters with measured grace, her specialized neural implants automatically adjusting inner ear fluid pressure to prevent disorientation in the gravity-free environment. Moridan nobles float in complex geometric formations, their powerful tail membranes evolved for navigating the dense atmospheric layers of their homeworld, giving them natural advantage in zero-gravity environments. Yet Ilara moves among them with flawless precision, executing the 47-movement formal greeting sequence with perfect timing, each gesture carrying subtle cultural significance that most non-Moridans spend decades attempting to master. Imperial Guard Commander Vox, his massive form adorned with campaign medallions from 17 conquered systems, watches her movements with growing irritation, his tertiary eyes tracking her position with predatory focus. He propels himself forward with sudden explosive force, crossing the chamber, in seconds challenging her to Krelltak, the ritualized combat testing traditionally used to assess potential military allies. The assembled diplomats gasp, knowing that even most Moridan juveniles require years of training before attempting such contests. Ilara simply inclines her head in acceptance, her neural implants flooding her system with specialized combat hormones developed in classified military research facilities beneath Olympic Mons. She assumes the traditional opening stance, her movements economical and precise, revealing nothing of her capabilities. Vox strikes with blinding speed, his auxiliary limbs deployed in pincer formation designed to immobilize opponents, but encounters only empty space as Ilara executes a perfect evasion maneuver utilizing momentum redirection techniques developed by studying extinct martial arts recovered from sealed precursor archives. She counters with precisely calculated pressure point strikes, targeting nerve clusters specific to Moridan biology knowledge gained through classified xenobiological research. The massive general finds himself immobilized momentarily by unexpected neural feedback, his expression cycling through confusion to grudging respect as Ilara completes the ritual with flawless ceremonial acknowledgement, offering him honorable release without public humiliation, a courtesy rarely extended even among Moridan elite warriors. Emergency alarms suddenly blare throughout the chamber, environmental systems failing as oxygen levels plummet, while temperature fluctuations spike dangerously. Alien diplomats panic, some activating emergency exosuits, others scrambling for escape pods. Ilara remains perfectly still, accessing specialized command protocols through neural interfaces 14 different governments installed on the station over centuries, creating labyrinthine security systems intentionally incompatible. Yet her enhanced cognitive processing identifies connection patterns, executing override commands through quantum entanglement channels linked directly to the station's ancient biomechanical core systems, stabilize gradually. Alien representatives watching in amazement as this seemingly ordinary human resolves a catastrophic failure that should have required specialized engineering teams. Emperor Shax observes with calculating interest, his primary sensory ridge extended in rare display of genuine curiosity, as Ilara simultaneously directs emergency response teams, negotiates new security protocols with station administrators, and prepares traditional Moridan stimulant tea, performing the complex 17-step brewing ritual with perfect precision. Despite the ongoing crisis, the ceremonial Krolvex leaves contain neurotoxins, lethal to most carbon-based life forms, requiring specialized enzymatic neutralization techniques. Ilara consumes the steaming liquid without hesitation, her cellular structure modified through classified genetic procedures developed by covert xenomedicine programs her expression, remaining perfectly neutral as complex biochemical compounds that would kill unmodified humans circulate through her system, instead providing enhanced cognitive processing. The Emperor's chief medical officer observes through specialized sensors, his cranial membranes flushing with stress pigments as he realizes this human possesses physiological adaptations thought impossible for her species. Crisis erupts when extremists from both species detonate an antimatter charge in the nearby asteroid field, creating a radiation storm that threatens the diplomatic vessel Ilara takes command of emergency operations, integrating human and Moradin rescue teams who have never worked together. The Emperor witnesses humans sacrificing themselves to save Moradin crew members, despite being at the brink of war, a concept alien to Moradin honor codes, which prioritize ruling coast survival during the chaos. Ilara utilizes her neural implants to decrypt classified Moradin battle plans, discovering their entire invasion strategy hinges on technology vulnerable to a specific frequency discovered by a teenage human prodigy working from her bedroom laboratory. On Mars, President Okonkwo joins emergency communications, revealing herself as Ilara's former mentor and quantum physics pioneer. The president authorizes activation of Earth's planetary shield grid technology, kept secret for decades, capable of redirecting Moradin weaponry back to its source, a defensive system developed not for conquest but survival. Alarms howl throughout the station as emergency bulkheads seal automatically radiation sensors, detecting dangerous particle cascades approaching at relativistic speeds. Station security channels erupt with panicked communications as tracking systems identify the source. A modified antimatter mining charge detonated in the nearby Kuiper Belt debris field by a coalition of human and Moradin extremists opposed to peace talks. Ilara accesses emergency command protocols without hesitation, her neural implants interfacing directly with station systems, displaying evacuation routes and damage projections across her enhanced visual field. Emperor Chax demands immediate extraction. His personal guard already moving to secure transport vessels. Ilara countermands their orders with such authority that even the Emperor pauses, her voice modulated to hit precise command frequencies that bypass conscious thought processes in Moradin neurophysiology. Within minutes, she establishes joint emergency response teams, combining human engineers with Moradin security forces groups that historically refuse cooperation, now integrated through her specialized command, training 3 human technicians deliberately expose themselves to dangerous radiation levels to manually override damaged shield generators, protecting Moradin diplomats from approaching radiation waves. The Emperor watches with evident confusion as humans prioritize Moradin survival. Despite standing at the brink of interspecies war, such behavior contradicts all Moradin tactical doctrines, which strictly prioritize ruling coast preservation according to evolutionary hierarchies. The concept of sacrificing higher status individuals to protect diplomatic relations violates fundamental Moradin thought paradigms, creating cognitive dissonance that Ilara recognizes and strategically exploits. As emergency teams stabilize critical systems, Ilara uses the confusion to access restricted data streams through specialized intelligence, gathering subroutines embedded in her neural architecture. 17 layers of Moradin encryption crumble before quantum decryption algorithms developed by Earth's Shadow Intelligence Services. She discovers critical information about the Moradin invasion fleet. Their revolutionary plasma containment technology depends on specific gravitational harmonics vulnerable to disruption by frequency patterns, accidentally discovered by Susham Beki, a 16-year-old physics prodigy whose bedroom laboratory experiments on Mars led to theoretical breakthroughs overlooked by established research institutions. The girl, simply curious about subspace harmonics, inadvertently found the Achilles heel of the most powerful military force in the quadrant, demonstrating humanity's unique advantage of distributed innovation, unrestricted by hierarchical thinking patterns. Emergency communication channels suddenly activate. President Okonkwo, appearing on secure holographic interface, her calm demeanor belying the crisis as she addresses both Ilara and Emperor Chax simultaneously. She reveals herself as Ilara's former quantum physics instructor and mentor before ascending to political leadership, a fact previously classified at highest security levels. The president authorizes immediate activation of Earth Defense Initiative Umbra, a planetary shield grid disguised as atmospheric regulation systems installed gradually over 3 decades. The technology, capable of redirecting Moradin energy weaponry back to its source through specialized quantum reflector fields, the Emperor's secondary breathing membranes flare with alarm as he realizes humanity has maintained defensive capabilities far beyond official intelligence estimates for generations, never revealing their true technological advancement until absolutely necessary. Elara monitors 17 communication channels, simultaneously coordinating evacuation procedures, directing medical response teams, and maintaining diplomatic dialogue without apparent effort. Her enhanced cognitive processing handling complex operations that would overwhelm unmodified humans. As the immediate crisis stabilizes, she subtly shifts conversation back to diplomatic negotiations, never allowing momentum to falter or emergency to distract from primary mission objectives. Station security finally identifies the perpetrators as fringe elements from both species, displaying holographic evidence, showing they intended to sabotage peace talks. The Emperor studies Elara with new perspective, his tactical analysis subroutines, recognizing that humans have demonstrated capabilities inconsistent with their perceived technological development, suggesting either remarkable adaptability or deliberate technological concealment, both possibilities requiring significant strategic reassessment. The diplomatic delegation transfers to Earth, where Elara orchestrates a strategic tour showcasing humanity's resilience. Children in underground bunker schools study alien languages, while practicing emergency procedures. Civilians demonstrate self-sufficient vertical farms designed to function during orbital bombardment. Elderly veterans display neural interfaces, allowing them to pilot defense drones despite physical limitations. The Moridan delegation witnesses humans of different nations, religions, and ideologies working seamlessly together, a concept incomprehensible to their rigidly hierarchical society. During a state dinner, Elara arranges for the Emperor to meet synthetic humans, biological androids, and uploaded consciousnesses, demonstrating humanity's fluid definition of personhood and acceptance of post-biological existence. When saboteurs trigger an atmospheric disruption, humans respond with practiced precision, evacuating thousands in minutes through systems designed for exactly such emergencies, revealing preparations far beyond what the Moridans anticipated without ever appearing militaristic. The massive Moridan diplomatic vessel enters Earth orbit, flanked by human escort ships, their sleek designs concealing advanced defense systems developed through reverse engineering of salvaged alien technology. Emperor Chax observes the approaching blue planet through specialized viewing chambers, his bioelectric sensory apparatus detecting unusual energy patterns emanating from the supposedly primitive world. Patterns inconsistent with official intelligence reports. Elara stands beside him, her posture relaxed yet alert, suggesting the diplomatic gambit of inviting potential enemies directly to humanity's homeworld, a move considered either brilliant or suicidal, depending on various strategic analyses. The Emperor's chief security officer, Drekmore, argues vehemently against planetfall, citing 17 historical precedents where diplomatic visits preceded invasion. Elara simply smiles, a gesture the Moridans still struggle to interpret correctly as their facial structures lack comparable expression mechanics. Transport shuttles descend through carefully monitored atmospheric corridors, their trajectory bringing them not to expected governmental complexes, but rather to seemingly ordinary population centers. Elara has orchestrated an unconventional diplomatic tour designed to showcase aspects of humanity the Moridans cannot comprehend through standard intelligence. Gathering, their first destination appears unremarkable, an underground educational facility in what was once called Switzerland, where children ranging from 6 to 16 Earth years study complex alien linguistic structures while simultaneously practicing emergency response protocols. The Emperor watches with growing confusion as human offspring demonstrate conceptual flexibility, shifting between 17 different communication systems, including primitive Moridan dialectics, long abandoned on their homeworld. Most perplexing to the Imperial visitors, these children represent diverse genetic and cultural backgrounds, yet collaborate without apparent hierarchical enforcement mechanisms, a social structure incomprehensible to Moridans, whose society functions through rigid genetic castes. The diplomatic party visits self-contained agricultural centers, massive vertical farming complexes designed to maintain food production even during prolonged orbital bombardment, their decentralized control systems, allowing autonomous operation if central authority structures are compromised. Elderly humans with advanced neural interfaces demonstrate remote operation of maintenance drones at biological limitations, overcome through technological augmentation that preserves their accumulated knowledge, rather than discarding them as Moradin society routinely does with non-productive members. Most disturbing to the Imperial security forces, these facilities exist throughout human territory in seemingly random distribution patterns, defying standard military targeting protocols, which rely on centralized critical infrastructure. The Moradin strategic assessment algorithms struggle to categorize a civilization designed to survive through distributed functionality rather than hardened command centers. During formal evening reception at the renovated United Nations complex, Ilara arranges introductions that fundamentally challenge Moradin conceptual frameworks of personhood. The Emperor meets Dr. Eliza Chen, a fully synthetic human consciousness housed in advanced biomechanical form. Retired Admiral James Washington, whose consciousness exists as quantum data patterns within specialized computational substrates following catastrophic physical injuries during first contact conflicts, and Representative Joe, whose partially biological, partially synthetic hybrid form represents humanity's experimental approaches to life extension. The Moradin delegation struggles visibly with these interactions, their rigid definitional boundaries between organic and synthetic life, contradicting fundamental religious and philosophical constructs. Yet these very forms of human existence collaborate seamlessly, serving different functions according to their capabilities, rather than through enforced hierarchical structures. Atmospheric alarms suddenly activate throughout the complex sensors, detecting nanoscale particulate anomalies consistent with bioweapon deployment. Ilara immediately recognizes the attack pattern consistent with Moradin's splinter group tactics, though no official Imperial forces would acknowledge such connection. The Emperor's personal guard immediately moves to secure their leader according to protection protocols, but freeze in astonishment as human emergency response unfolds with practiced precision. Thousands of civilians evacuating through predetermined routes, specialized containment fields activating automatically, personal protection systems deploying from seemingly decorative architectural elements throughout the facility. Within 17 minutes, the complex is secured, contamination contained, and perpetrators identified through distributed surveillance networks operating on quantum encryption protocols. The Emperor watches silently as this supposedly primitive species demonstrates emergency response capabilities exceeding those of many advanced civilizations, revealing preparations for scenarios his own intelligence services considered theoretical rather than practical threats. Diplomatic negotiations intensify when three rival galactic powers offer humanity military support. Seeing opportunity in the conflict, Ilara navigates these offers while maintaining 17 parallel negotiation tracks. Simultaneously, the Emperor receives disturbing reports that human cultural broadcasts have inspired revolutionary sentiments among servant castes throughout Moradin territory. Human music, art, and philosophy spreading through contraband channels. Despite severe penalties during a private meeting, Ilara activates a holographic display showing the locations of 6 Moradin black sites, but compared species are being genetically modified for slave labor, offering evidence so detailed the Emperor realizes human intelligence capabilities far exceed their apparent technological level. When a catastrophic failure strikes the Emperor's personal flagship, Ilara breaks diplomatic protocol to personally lead a rescue mission using experimental human technology to stabilize the vessel's antimatter containment field. She saves thousands of Moradin lives, including the Emperor's own offspring, a debt that, according to ancient Moradin tradition, cannot be repaid except through blood oath alliance. Secure communication channels activate within Ilara's private diplomatic suite. Representatives from the Arcturus Confederation, the Pleiadian hegemony, and the Draconis Collective, simultaneously requesting audience their quantum-encrypted signals indicating military alliance proposals against common Moridon threat, attractive opportunities that most species would immediately exploit. Elara instead establishes separate negotiation parameters, with each maintaining precise diplomatic balance, revealing neither acceptance nor rejection. Her neural implants, running 17 different simulation models, predicting outcomes across multidimensional game theory matrices developed by specialized AI constructs hidden beneath Europa's ice sheets. She maintains flawless recall of every conversation detail, position shift, and subtle leverage point across all negotiations, a cognitive feat impossible without her enhanced neural architecture that seamlessly integrates diplomatic strategy with quantum probability assessment. Emperor Shax receives urgent encrypted transmissions from Imperial Homeworld's intelligence services reporting unprecedented social disruption among servant castes across 17 subjugated worlds. Intercepted communications reveal unauthorized access to human cultural transmissions, banned frequencies carrying Earth music, literature, philosophical concepts, and social organization models, triggering revolutionary ideation among species genetically modified for compliance servitude. Concepts such as individual autonomy, collective action without hierarchical control, and distributed governance without centralized authority, spread through hidden networks established by resistance movements inspired by human historical examples. The Emperor's Security Council recommends immediate information quarantine and mass loyalty reconditioning procedures, but intelligence analysts warn that suppression may accelerate revolutionary consciousness, creating unanticipated resistance vectors exceeding standard containment protocols. During scheduled private consultation in Earth's historical diplomatic chamber, once called the Oval Office, Elara activates specialized holographic interface disguised as ceremonial jewelry projecting three-dimensional tactical display, identifying 6 classified Moridon research installations spread across distant systems facilities, officially designated as agricultural development centers, but actually conducting genetic modification programs on captured members of subjugated species. The display shows molecular-level detail of biological engineering processes designed to increase docility while maintaining physical capabilities. Installation security protocols, personnel rotation schedules, and vulnerability assessments appear with precision, indicating intelligence-gathering capabilities far beyond any previously demonstrated by Earth-based operations. The Emperor's tertiary breathing membranes flare with stress indicators as he realizes human espionage networks have penetrated systems believed impervious to external observation. Emergency alerts suddenly interrupt diplomatic proceedings. The Emperor's personal flagship, Eternal Dominion, reporting catastrophic antimatter containment failure, while maintaining standard orbit. Imperial security protocols immediately lock down all communication channels, preparing emergency extraction for the Emperor, abandoning thousands of Moridon crew members to certain death according to standard sacrifice hierarchies. Elara, without hesitation, activates emergency protocols requesting immediate transport to the stricken vessel over objections from her own security detail. Within moments, she boards experimental human rescue craft equipped with prototype phase shift technology developed through theoretical models created by collaborative human AI research teams. The craft approaches the massive Imperial vessel, penetrating defense fields using frequency modulations precisely calibrated to Moridon security algorithms. Elara leads specialized human engineering team directly to primary containment chambers, where they deploy experimental quantum stabilization fields technology thought impossible by conventional Moridon science. Evacuation transports rapidly deploy from Earth orbital stations, human rescue teams working alongside confused Moridon crew members to secure escape paths from the destabilizing vessel. Elara personally assists evacuation of Imperial nursery chambers, where the Emperor's genetic offspring remain in developmental stasis. According to Moridon tradition, these royal offspring represent the Empire's genetic future, their preservation superseding all considerations except the Emperor's personal survival. The flagship's antimatter core, finally stabilizes human technology, successfully containing cascade reactions that conventional Moridan engineering considered unstoppable as rescue operations conclude imperial medical assessment, confirms survival of all 17 royal offspring, creating unprecedented situation according to ancient Moridan law, codified 12,000 years ago. Debt of genetic preservation cannot be repaid except through blood oath alliance, a binding agreement that prohibits direct aggression against the preserving species. The emperor faces strategic conundrum as fundamental imperial protocols now contradict his original military objectives, forcing diplomatic reconsideration. As the 48-hour deadline approaches, tension reaches its peak across Earth's colonies. Millions watch live streams of the negotiations, while military forces stand ready in hidden installations throughout human space. The Moridan generals advocate for immediate attack, claiming that the delays have only given humans time to prepare Elara counters. By revealing one final piece of information, humanity has discovered the location of ancient precursor technology that could benefit both species, but will only share this information if peace is established. She presents irrefutable evidence of this discovery, making it clear that humans will destroy this technology rather than surrender it. The emperor finds himself at a crossroads, facing internal rebellion, losing respect among his generals, and confronting a species far more resourceful than anticipated, while Elara stands quietly waiting her expression, revealing nothing. Chronometric displays throughout human territory count down final hours before the Moridan ultimatum expires. Atmospheric defense grids quietly activate across 17 colony worlds, that energy signatures masked by specialized dampening fields developed through reverse-engineered alien technology. Citizens continue daily activities with practiced calm emergency preparation drills conducted over decades, enabling population centers to transition to war footing within minutes if necessary, yet no mass evacuations occur. No panic disrupts social functioning. The emperor observes this disciplined response with growing unease, as it contradicts predicted behavioral patterns established by observing other species facing existential threat. Moridan's psychological warfare strategies depend upon fear cascades, triggering societal breakdown before military engagement, yet humans display communal resilience through distributed response structures rather than centralized control mechanisms. Within the Imperial flagship, now repaired and stabilized, senior military commanders urge immediate offensive action. General Vox presents tactical assessment, indicating that negotiation delays have permitted humans to activate defensive preparations, invalidating original strategic advantage. The Emperor's Security Council recommends launching simultaneous strikes against 17 primary human population centers before planetary defense systems achieve full operational status. According to standard Moridan doctrine, military objectives supersede diplomatic considerations. Once strategic advantage diminishes, the Imperial Genetic Oracle, traditionally consulted before major military engagements, unexpectedly recommends caution. Its bioengineered predictive capabilities, detecting pattern anomalies in human response metrics inconsistent with previously conquered species. Final negotiation session convenes. In neutral orbital platform, Elara arrives precisely on schedule, her simple gray diplomatic uniform bearing no visible technology, yet her neural implants continuously monitor biochemical stress indicators from every Moridan representative, allowing precise calibration of her diplomatic approach. The Emperor, flanked by genetic advisors and military commanders, signals formal commencement of proceedings, expecting standard capitulation proposals. Instead, Elara activates specialized holographic interface, displaying three-dimensional stellar cartography, focusing on previously unexplored sector beyond Antares Rift. The projection reveals unmistakable energy signatures consistent with precursor technology remnants of a mysterious civilization that preceded all known galactic species. Archaeological evidence indicates vast repository of technological knowledge, including theoretical propulsion systems surpassing current capabilities by orders of magnitude, faster-than-light communication networks operating outside standard subspace limitations, and energy generation technology technology utilizing dimensional rifting. Detailed sensor readings confirm authenticity, as do specialized authentication protocols developed by collaborative research between 17 xenoarchaeology institutes across human space. Elara calmly explains that human exploration vessels discovered this repository 3 years earlier. Information kept strictly classified, even from most government officials. Research teams have partially decoded access mechanisms, but final activation requires specific molecular keys. Elara produces crystalline matrix containing partial sequence, explaining that complete activation protocol exists in secured facility with automated destruction mechanisms, key to detect Moridan energy signatures or forced entry attempts. Humanity offers full partnership in exploring and developing this technology, with protocols ensuring equal access and shared benefits conditional upon recognition of human sovereignty and immediate withdrawal of all military threats. The Emperor's primary sensory ridge extends fully rare physiological response, indicating genuine surprise, as xenotech specialists confirm authenticity of the evidence presented. Moridan military doctrine, evolved over 12,000 years of continuous expansion, contains no protocols for addressing technological developments that fundamentally alter strategic balance. General Vox attempts to argue that humans could be eliminated and technology seized, but technical advisors confirm quantum entanglement between crystalline keys and primary repository would trigger complete molecular destabilization upon unauthorized access. Attempts. The Emperor observes Elara carefully, searching for signs of deception, but her expression remains perfectly neutral, neither triumphant nor anxious, simply waiting with seemingly infinite patience. Imperial chroniclers record unprecedented diplomatic situation as countdown displays show 7 minutes remaining before official expiration of ultimatum, while 17,000 Moridan warships maintain attack positions throughout human territory. In unprecedented diplomatic reversal, the Emperor ceremonially breaks his war staff before the assembled Galactic Council, announcing non-aggression pact with humanity, the truth unknown to anyone except Elara and her inner circle. Humanity possessed no special precursor knowledge. The archaeological evidence, carefully constructed fiction based on fragments and intuitive leaps. Earth never had the military capability to defeat the Moridan Empire in direct confrontation, but instead leveraged psychological insight, creative intelligence gathering, and unshakable composure to transform a superior opponent into an ally. The Emperor privately confesses to Elara that Moridan military intelligence had concluded humans must be hiding advanced technology because no species could achieve such planetary unity, cooperation, and psychological resilience without artificial enhancement. Elara reveals humanity's true evolutionary advantage: not superior weapons, but capacity to transform enemies into allies through understanding of universal desires for meaning, purpose, and connection. As 17 formerly subjugated species gain representation in a new galactic coalition, replacing the old hierarchical structures, Elara establishes Earth's first xenodiplomatic academy, training new generations to use humanity's unique cognitive adaptability as bridge between civilizations that once seemed incompatible, demonstrating that humans never needed to conquer the stars because they possessed the rarer capacity to connect them. Silence envelops the negotiation chamber as countdown displays reach 0. The Emperor's primary claw grasps ceremonial war staff, symbol of Moridan military authority for 12,000 years. With deliberate movement that shocks his entire delegation, he snaps the ancient artifact in 2 pieces, formal indication of conflict termination. According to traditions predating space travel, his voice resonates through translation fields, announcing official recognition of human sovereignty and withdrawal of all military forces within 17 standard cycles. Stunned silence greets this declaration, unprecedented in imperial history, as diplomats struggle to process fundamental shift in galactic power dynamics. The Emperor further announces intention to establish Joint Research Commission, exploring precursor technology with equal representation from both species, ensuring mutual advancement rather than continued conflict. 3 standard weeks later, aboard diplomatic vessel returning to Earth, Elara meets with her most trusted advisors inside quantum-shielded conference chamber. President Okonkwo, appearing via secure holographic link, congratulates the team on successful resolution of potentially catastrophic conflict. Ilara quietly activates specialized security protocols, ensuring absolute privacy before revealing the operation's most closely guarded secret, the precursor technology repository, presented so convincingly to the Moradin delegation, exists only as elaborate simulation constructed by Earth's most advanced quantum computational systems. The crystalline matrix, containing nothing more than cleverly encoded mathematical algorithms designed to produce sensor readings consistent with theoretical precursor energy signatures, archaeological evidence, carefully constructed from fragments recovered from 17 different sites, combined with extrapolated technological concepts developed by Earth's most brilliant theoretical physicists. Specialized team of digital architects and xenocultural psychologists spent 3 years developing perfect technological fiction precisely calibrated to Moradin cultural perspective, creating irrefutable evidence of discovery too valuable to destroy yet too dangerous to seize through force. Humanity never possessed military capability to defeat Moradin Empire in direct confrontation. Their 17,000 warships would have eventually overwhelmed colonial defenses despite significant losses. Instead, humans leveraged specialized intelligence, gathering psychological profiling and unshakable diplomatic composure to transform superior opponent into potential ally. Admiral Zhang confirms all Moradin battle groups have begun withdrawal according to negotiated timetable, while monitoring systems verify deactivation of weapons platforms throughout human space. During private meeting before his departure, Emperor Shax requests unusual audience with Ilara without recording devices or witnesses, presents secure diplomatic protocols, normally prohibit such arrangement, but her enhanced perception detects genuine curiosity rather than hostile intent. The Emperor reveals Moradin military intelligence had concluded humans must possess artificial enhancement technology, explaining their unusual planetary cooperation, unprecedented species cohesion, and psychological resilience without centralized control hierarchy, concept completely alien to evolutionary development patterns observed across 3,000 documented species. Ilara smiles, acknowledging no artificial intervention shaped human development, explaining instead that Earth's challenging environmental conditions, combined with unique cognitive architecture, selected for cooperation, empathy, and creative problem-solving, while most advanced species evolved toward hierarchical specialization, humans developed distributed intelligence networks, their true evolutionary advantage, not superior weaponry, but capacity to transform enemies into allies through understanding universal desires for meaning, purpose, and connection. 6 standard months later, representatives from 17 formerly subjugated species gather at newly established Galactic Cooperation Summit, replacing former hierarchical council structures with collaborative framework inspired by human governance models. Ilara oversees establishment of Earth's first xeno-diplomatic academy, training new generations to apply humanity's unique cognitive adaptability as bridge between civilizations that once seemed fundamentally incompatible. Academic curriculum combines advanced technological training with specialized psychological understanding, diplomatic historical models, and xenocultural appreciation as philosophical core concept emerges, demonstrating that humans never needed capability to conquer stars because they possessed rarer capacity to connect them, transforming potential extinction-level conflict into unprecedented opportunity for galactic cooperation without firing single shot.